Hi everyone, I'm out and about in DY again for today's mini sermonette, and this marks the start of a new series, The Intentional Life. The Intentional Life. And today we're thinking all about rest, because when you hear that term intentional, it can be a little bit scary, it can be a bit off-putting. So we want to begin our intentional life with rest. Today I want to teach you about how to rest. Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I don't know about you, but whenever I go away on holiday, I have to work really, really hard to get ready to go away. I feel like I do most of my hours for the week that I'm about to have off on the 2 days before I go away. In order to rest, we have to work really, really hard. We have to create space for it. In the Jewish faith, they have Shabbat, which is like their Sabbath. And I know that Jews will do everything they can to prepare for their day off, for the Shabbat, so that they don't even have to cook on those days. They do all their food prep, they do all their kind of gathering of community the night before, so that when they wake up on the Sabbath, they can rest. Working hard so that we can rest. If we want to rest really well as Christians, as humans, if we want to thrive and flourish, if we want to live this intentional life, we have to learn to rest really well. And that's what we see in today's passage. Jesus doesn't want us to strive. He doesn't want us to be stressed, particularly at this difficult time. He is calling us to rest. Jesus says, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." A yoke isn't that thing in an egg. That's what I always used to think whenever I heard this passage. He's actually talking about like that kind of mechanism that they put on cows for farming. And the idea of the mechanism is it's this kind of bit of wood that goes over the cow's shoulders, and it stops them having such a heavy load. It kind of goes around their neck. It doesn't look very nice. It doesn't look very comfortable, but the yoke goes on the back of the cow, on the cow's shoulders, and joins it onto another cow. And so they share the load together. And what Jesus is saying is, if you take my yoke on, I'll take all the weight. I'll pull the load along. Life will be easier. Life will be more fulfilled with me. Easier is an interesting term, isn't it? Because Jesus doesn't promise that everything will be okay. In fact, often when we follow this intentional life, when we go on this journey, life becomes more difficult. What Jesus is saying is, if you want to fully flourish, if you want to be fully alive, come to me. If you're weary, come to me and you will find rest. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. And so, as we begin this series on the intentional life, I want to encourage you to rest really, really well. We thought as a church about the rule of life during COVID. We thought about all of these practices that we can put in place in order to flourish, in order to feel fully alive. But we want to begin this series. We want to begin these next few weeks with thinking about rest. So in your house churches today, discuss that. What does it mean to rest really well? How can we work really hard in order to rest really well? What boundaries do we need to put in place in order to rest well? Because I believe if we want to live the intentional life, if we want to fully flourish, if we want to live that life in all its fullness that Jesus talks about, we have to rest well. So I wonder what this means for you. I wonder what practices you need to put in place to rest well. And I wonder what it would look like for you to rest. May you rest well. Amen.